President Obama says the U.S. will not stop its push against Islamic militants in Iraq. That is despite the ISIS threat to execute another American they're holding and after killing a journalist, James Foley, yesterday. NBC's Steve Handelsman has the story from Washington.
Jim Foley's family got confirmation from the FBI. The gruesome ISIS video of the journalist's execution is authentic. 21 months of hope that Foley might be freed end in tragedy.
Jim believed in our country. We're a great country. Jim was a great American.
The Foleys hold out hope for another U.S. journalist held in Syria, Steven Sotloff, kidnapped last year. ISIS warns that Sotloff's life depends on what the U.S. does now in Iraq, where U.S. airstrikes are driving ISIS forces back. President Obama said today no God would stand for what ISIS is doing, and the U.S. will remain relentless.
When people harm Americans anywhere, we do what's necessary to see that justice is done.
Images of journalists killed on the job cover a wall at the museum in Washington, and the risk may be rising. Groups like ISIS can now post their own propaganda on the web. They don't need to tolerate journalists. So truthful reporting is at risk, says Courtney Radge of the Committee to Protect Journalists.
Right. When you kill a journalist, you are impinging on everyone's right to get information.
Freelance reporter Jim Foley loved combat coverage. After he was kidnapped in Libya in 2011, he came back and rejected the work as too dangerous.
It's not worth your life. It's not worth seeing your mother, father, brother, and sister bawling.
But the next year, Foley was in Syria. His family is weeping, but praising Jim's character and commitment. I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Washington.
And the British government says the man who killed James Foley is British because he has an English accent. Intelligence agencies are trying to identify him.
Meanwhile, Foley's death is bringing on a sense of urgency in the search for a Texas journalist missing in Syria. Like Foley, Austin Tice disappeared in Syria 2 years ago. Tice was there as a freelance journalist for the Washington Post, covering the country's civil war. Family and friends gathered overnight in Houston for a vigil for both men.
Almost sad that today, when we're all getting together, that this news came out. But there's still hope, and so that's what we're going to hold on to.
Tice's family says they have been in touch with Foley's family and that their thoughts and prayers go out to them.